It's so dumb that it's funny. We wanted to camp with the cars that you would not expect to go camping with, take photos, and submit to Rock Auto so they can make fridge magnet out of it. Eric just came up with a description of this episode.
We always go camping in Land Cruisers. We always have a really nice setup. And we just really wanted to make things harder on ourselves because we haven't gone out in a while. So we decided, why not go camping in a 60s muscle car or lowrider type car in the rain?
Okay, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. In my recent videos, you probably noticed this blue Chevy lurking in the corner. A 60s muscle car? Since when? Last summer, we came across a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A car collector sold one of his warehouses and needed to get rid of a bunch of vehicles stored in that warehouse. Eric's friend was in charge of facilitating the sales, and one day Eric came home and told me that he might need to sell his daily driver to catch this 1965 Chevy Impala SS. In every way, selling your daily to get a project car is a dumb idea, but I know a good investment when it's presenting itself so plainly in front of my eyes. So we made a deal. I'll buy the Impala and Eric will take care of it. In September 2023, we picked up a new baby in the already half-emptied warehouse near Seattle. The story was that the car was damaged during transit coming into this warehouse. The owner/collector just left it and never touched it, since he's got so many fancier machines that probably worth more of his love than this one. Poor baby just abandoned in the dark, collecting dust. The carburetor was having some trouble starting. Luckily, we had Eric's dad helping to fire it up so we can drive it onto the trailer.
So we picked up the car in Tacoma, made it back to the border. My parents were pretty instrumental in getting the car through the border, dealing with the paperwork. My parents had previous experience doing that before, so kind of leaned on them for that. It wasn't running very well. The carburetor started to leak again. I wanted to start cleaning it up. The car was pretty nasty. I remember I wanted to pressure wash the engine bay. I started doing that and just orange paint was just flaking everywhere, all over the car, all over the driveway. That's when my dad suggested, hey, you know it's only 6 bolts to remove this engine, right? And 6 bolts cost us at least $12,000 because one thing led to another. We took the engine out, started to take the engine apart a little bit just to examine some of the pieces. You know, this is a 58 or 59-year-old car now. One thing led to another, and Dad said, oh, well, you know, you got the oil pan off. Well, you know, might as well check the bearings. Removed one of the bearing caps. There was some scoring, nothing too crazy, but enough that it would require some light grinding on the crankshaft to get it nice again. New bearings, all that stuff. Next thing you know, the engine's at the machine shop. We found cracked pistons, some scoring in the cylinders. We ended up having to bore the engine 30 over. New pistons. We went to a newer style camshaft, new intake manifold, valve springs, guides, retainers, did everything. That took months, you know. Getting parts was difficult. It's all new to me as well. Getting the imperial tools out of the toolkit that you've used as hammers and, you know, broken sockets and welded sockets for random stuff. So that was difficult. Dressing the engine up kind of nice.
That way, right? That looks better than this one.
All right, here we go.
The engine dynoed 411 horsepower and 421 foot-pounds of torque, and the torque curve is so flat. It's from wherever they started reading on the dyno to where it redlines. It's just right along. It's sweet. Terrifyingly fast for what it is, you know, having driven a lot of turbo Japanese cars that have better steering, better brakes, lighter, better put together. So having something like this, it's an unnecessary amount of power. So yeah, we got the engine dynoed, got it home. Over the months that I had the engine out, I painted the engine bay. I wanted to do that up nice. It was like black, flaking paint. So I got paint match to the outside of the car, did the underside of the hood. There we go. Redid all the brake lines in the engine bay. Got a new brake booster, brake master. The car had previously been converted to power brakes really poorly. Monique helped me make a little blanking plate on the firewall so I could mount the aftermarket booster and master that is supposed to mount to your factory holes, but they had all been cut open and drilled away. Got the engine in. That was a bit of a struggle. I used polyurethane engine mounts and transmission mounts, so a little bit less forgiving to get the engine centered and down on the mounts, but it took a little bit, but got it in, pulled the car out. My dad was here, my mom was here. We fired it up for the first time in the car. That was a pretty special moment. And that was really cool to have my dad here for that. He's been a big supporter of everything and helped immensely. He donated a carburetor and an intake manifold to the build, which was really special too. So he had been holding on to those parts for 20 plus years. Monique and I took it around the block like maybe the next day for the first drive. Possibly a little underwhelming just because, you know, you've got it running, but there's still a bunch of things to solve or fix. But in the same breath, it was good to finally reach that marker after having the car be in project car hell for like 9 months, 10 months maybe. Yeah, it just seemed like every step of the way was just fighting me. You'd make a little bit of progress and be like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Every time I thought I was close to the end, the goalpost would move, and that was discouraging, and I was spending money like it was going out of style, and Monique was going, "What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah, I decided to take a break from it for like a week or two, and then kind of reassessed and got back on it. Ordered what I hoped would be sort of the last grouping of parts. Took it for inspection. Failed, but not a bad fail. Sweet. Order a few last parts that weren't super expensive that I just missed, like rear wheel cylinders. I don't know. I had the brakes apart, but didn't catch it. I guess in that time too, I rebuilt the rear end, which was super daunting. Haggerty has an amazing video on YouTube about rebuilding a 12-bolt GM rear axle, and that was absolutely instrumental. The hardest part I found was setting the pinion depth. All the things online recommend, you know, following the pinion depth that's recommended on the gear, but I'm using the original gear set with a new posi unit, so I guess I nailed it because it seems to work. It doesn't whine, and yeah, I'm really happy with that. That was the first time I'd done that, and probably one of the most daunting things I've done, at least in the last few years. Other than that, the transmission was leaking a little bit, so my dad graciously lent us his 4-speed transmission from his 66 Corvette because he had converted it to a 5-speed now, so that's in the car. It leaks too, but less. So yeah, after we fixed those small items, was finally able to get it road registered. It's not perfect. I don't think the intake manifold is sealing properly against the cylinder heads. Like, it's a used intake manifold. The car is blowing a little blue, and we've been finding oil in the intake manifold. Next spring, we'll probably put a new intake manifold on it. I lowered the car a bit. It rubs quite a bit on this side, but that's something I'll deal with next year at this point. I probably want to go air ride. I don't know. I go back and forth. At one point, realized that the radiator was leaking for the car, so I sourced out a new radiator. I decided to get an aluminum radiator. It was made for the car, but it didn't fit the radiator support. It has like a bracket that holds the OE style radiator on, so we removed that. I had to drill new holes in it. It didn't have a shroud, and I found the car would kind of overheat a little bit on the really hot days, especially when you're sitting there in traffic. So I upgraded from the factory style 4-blade fan to a 6-blade fan, design a radiator shroud that Monique was able to put together at work. Yeah, it looks really cool. It has been helping quite a bit. Yeah, no, it's all coming together pretty good. We've just got a few kinks to iron out now, but we've really enjoyed it over the summer. Been taking it to car shows, gone on a few dates in it, took it to Vancouver, and just been cruising around, really enjoying it.
Let's get going. Definitely not ideal weather to be camping. Like, you don't ever drive these kind of cars in the wet condition at all. But that's the thing about local provincial campground, that you have to book a month ahead. You never know what you're gonna get on that weekend. It's the only time you got. So what can you do? Gotta turn on that defogger. Hopefully it works.
There's air coming out and it's warm.
Alright.
So that's all right. Can't see anything out of the car right now.
All right, we just checked in. I feel like I haven't been out in the Canadian mountain range for so long. This feels good. Before coming out, I had so much doubt. I don't know, I had huge anxiety. Look at that cloud over the mountain. But yeah, now that I'm actually out, it doesn't feel that bad. All is well. That's Matt.
Sick. This is so good.
Look at that.
I said, camping, this is dumb. Look at these cars, look where we are, but it's gonna be a good time. And the road was not that bad, right?
No.
It's kind of bumpy, but yeah.
A little bumpy.
Does this not rub? Do you not rub?
No, it rubbed. But that's with like I put 2,000 kilometers on those tires, and the writing is still there.
Oh, okay.
You know, like it still says the tire size and everything, so
Yeah.
that's my judge.
There's
Like
holes.
rust holes?
Yeah, there's holes at the bottom of this and in the corners, I think.
Okay.
Anyways, it didn't drip as
not
much
too
as
bad.
I thought.
Yeah, it's
so
not, stuff isn't like soaked.
that's the sleeping bag. So
Oh, is that just stuck in the corner and soaking up?
it's fine.
Bit moist.
Moderately moist.
Some like.
It'll be okay.
As unsuitable for camping as it is, the Impala is great with space. Back in the 60s, automobiles were generally larger than what we have now. We could carry so many camping gear, including my fridge and a portable battery to run it.
Thought you guys were tall. Yeah.
Not me. The boys brought pop-up canapes. I've never owned one of these. I guess this is me getting back in touch with what Camping 101 really means. Oh my god. You had vehicle awning the entire time, like I never really played with this.
This is like old school. Come on.
What is the most expensive, fanciest awning you've got?
This one?
This
No,
kind
no,
of?
yeah, this type of awning.
I
Like,
don't
are there
know. I'm the
motorized ones? Because imagine you just like throw it on the
This?
ground, it rolls, and then it lands, and it just and feels.
That would be pretty sick. Dude, guaranteed.
What is it, hydraulic?
No, it would just be like a little electric motor with a battery. I guess, yeah. Would it be hydraulic or pneumatic?
Right.
Okay.
Probably hydraulic.
Is that,
Then you
is that
have
better?
like.
I don't know. So small.
So this place, I used to come to this place all the time when my days off were Monday, Tuesday. Because I'd show up Sunday night, fucking dead.
Yeah.
Dead. And you can pound music and do whatever the fuck you want.
How's it going?
Oh yeah, you're on the right side.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Correct side. Do.
Is that a mattress?
Yeah,
That's a
it
foam
is.
roll.
That looks so comfy.
36 beers, 36 wieners. Cheers, dude.
First thing first, crack a beer right away.
Cheers, buddy.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Made it.
Oh, white car looks so nice against like this background.
That's the green now.
What is
I think
this?
it's 30
Oh,
by
it's a
20.
What is this?
Yeah, so like we were talking on the phone and he's like, so
you're a car guy, but you don't have any way to get to work? I was like, well,
that's the true hallmark of a car guy.
I was like,
Everything's a project.
yeah, I was like, well, I mean, like, I don't really have cars that like I drive every day, you know?
I don't really know what I was gonna do. Just gonna get drunk enough that I can just sleep in the car.
No, you gotta sleep in there.
Sleep in the trunk.
This is like, yeah.
I feel like one side has to be tight first.
Yeah.
Not certain if these shitty dingy little pegs will work. Took me probably twice as long as usual. If you've been following for a while, you know I cook in an air fryer at camp. This time, we are back to basic. Ground tent and stackable camping pot. Pro tip, line your plate with tin foil will save you a plate to wash. I can't just eat out of the air fryer basket anymore, but still don't want too many dishes. We came here Friday after work, so it's been a long day. The boys are having their time tatting into the night.
Side by side, like they all have the same stacks. I don't get it. Like, I'll buy the cheaper one, obviously. Like,
fuck.
I am going to bed early. The next morning is filled with the sound of raindrops. Morning, boys. We forgot a lot of stuff. Cast iron, all these fancy cooking stuff. Back to basic, hey. This is what people usually camp with. So instead of using toast, we use apple fritter. Because the apple fritter, it's like they don't stay together as one whole blob, so it doesn't really cut into a sandwich bun well. I don't know how to like grab this.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a fork.
Fork? It just completely disassembled.
Straight up like the
New method of cooking is putting cheese down and cracking it on top of it, so you get a crispy cheese bottom. What you got there?
Buns.
Oh, the squirrel eating ones? The
For my
leftovers?
buns for my hot dogs, but I don't have any more hot dogs because the squirrels took them, so now we're gonna have
They didn't eat the
breakfast.
buns?
Oh, they didn't want the buns, yeah.
Oh.
They didn't take any mustard either.
Oh,
They
weird.
just like them plain.
Weird. Fit check?
Yeah, I'm just seeing how the car's sitting right now. Yeah, it's tucking rim in the back.
We are going to try to go down to the water. Trying to figure out what to do, basically. We have a whole day here and another night.
Okay, and this size, would you want it to be bigger?
I would think a little bit bigger would be better.
Okay, for more weight.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now watch, this one's gonna go right under the
Immediately into the water.
Just spikes it.
Oh, not bad. Not bad.
That carried on longer than I thought.
After like the first one, I thought it was done.
Later in the hour, we had two Americans arriving, He crossed the border this morning to join us.
Zach's wearing pants.
You've all seen Zach, right?
Very rare.
And then the tall one is Mark.
Good.
Doing some content creation.
Yes, that's properly installed, man. That's how it should be.
I mean, the goal of a tarp is just to keep things dry, and it's succeeding. It's like not pretty, but whatever.
Three, 2, 1, go.
It was really slippery.
Oh.
I skipped on filming a second night together. It was my full immersive time to be in the moment instead of on the other side of the camera. So the next moment I got was after packing my tent, watching how many union workers does it take to pack down a tarp. Convoy out of the campsite, carefully maneuver around the potholes. The roads in provincial campground are generally very well maintained, but small dips here and there still exist. The Impala will be 60 years old next year. I'm really glad I got to document the restoration and trying to keep everything balanced. It's so easy to sink into the quicksand, throwing all your life earnings into a vehicle. We're not in our irresponsible teenage years anymore, so projects like this are few and far between. Collector show car is cool, but we prefer to enjoy our money and hard work. We'd still drive them around, doing silly things like this, bring a little challenge in life away from the luxury of a four-wheel drive. It's been a great weekend. I'll see you soon.
Feels like a dangerous game with my own pair of shoes.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh no! Fuck! Yo, I got these fucking hiking boots and my feet are wet. Should have been wearing vesties.
Right?
Boom.
Yeah. Serial 9 supported.
Yeah.